no kabzate smolia, Mzanza Afrika. Senekala no kabzate smolia, Mzanza Afrika.
Hey everybody, I hope you guys are good. Welcome back to the Juliet Kamanga show. It has been so long since I've said that. It is insane. I just want to put a disclaimer out there real quick. I'm not trying to make anybody mad. If you see the title of this video and it triggers you, please, for all means, don't watch it. I want people to watch my video, but I don't want people to get triggered because I have an opinion. Another disclaimer, it is an opinion. You can definitely disagree with me and let me know. I definitely don't mind. As long as we're kind, I don't mind. You're going to shout at me and call me names. You keep it to yourself. Keep it in your heart. Write it in your diary. So, welcome guys. If you haven't been here before, I talk about films and music and anything else I want to because it's my channel and I have every right to. I am hoping that at least for the rest of the year I can get at least 5 videos out, but I'm going to try my best. It's been a very busy year. But with this one specifically, I would like to tell you why I'm inspired to make this video, just because I think it gives a bit of context. And I do want people to understand that I'm very passionate about this topic. So if I do sound a bit like passionate, it's just how I talk, but I'm not being mean. I'm not trying to be shady. Just sometimes I just say shit, but I'll try my best to be professional. This video was inspired because first and foremost, we're going to be talking about how in the film and TV industry in South Africa, we're not allowed to criticize it because it's perceived as us being mean. And I don't really understand why that is. Why are we so special as the South African filmmakers that we're not allowed to get criticized? Because if you say, oh, I didn't like that movie, everyone gets mad. And it's like, oh, you just don't support. Nah, nigga. Sometimes it's a bad movie. It's okay. Like, and I also would also like to say that I don't think every movie is gonna be great. I don't think every movie can be great. And no movie is gonna be great to everybody. Like, there are people who watch Moonlight and feel nothing. Do you know what I mean? And it is one of the most critically acclaimed films out there. And they feel nothing. You know what I mean? So why are we so sensitive as South Africans? And you may answer this for me. I'm definitely interested. Why are we so sensitive as South African filmmakers that we think we must be absolved from criticism? It don't make sense. But we're so quick to criticize other places. It's very interesting. Also, if you've never been here before, I am a filmmaker. I work in the industry. I do many things in the industry. I've worked on many projects because I don't want anyone asking my credibility. Like, you don't know. I work in the industry. Don't worry. And also, I'll be talking about criticism, not like bashing. Does that make sense? I don't believe people should bash art. That's horrible. Don't bash art. I do believe constructive criticism, however, does help people grow, and that is what I'll be talking about. So if you just hear me say criticism, I'm talking about constructive criticism, but I'll try to say the full word as much as I can so things aren't taken out of context. All right, cool. The way in which this topic became something important to me, you may or may not know, I did something called The Review Show with a podcast that I work with, and it was very short-lived because there were some disagreements that I had with how I wanted to go about it, and it ended up not working out in my liking. I was like, this is just too much stress, let's just scrap this. Okay, this is not me bashing anybody on the show. Please calm down. How does it work? Sometimes you have an idea, it doesn't work out, you're like, let's not do this, and that is perfectly fine. And I remember though, when the show was still up, people had an issue with the fact that I'll critique some elements within movies that I had watched, right? And even though I mostly said positive things, people were very touched by the 3 negative things. I would say, for example, I'd say, I kid you not, like a lot of the things that I watched I mostly enjoyed, but it ended up being difficult to be critical because people made it seem like I was just bashing South African shows. And I did not understand why, because I'd be like, oh, I didn't like this one element. It's like, I hate it when people say this. And it's like, okay, so should I just shut up? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, let me just stop talking because I don't really see the point of me making a review show if I'm going to lie to everybody. And I'm just someone who bases a lot of my opinions on honesty. So that was one of the reasons. Another reason was that some of the filmmakers got annoyed that I didn't like every element of their film. And I also found that a bit weird because I'm like, I even have films I've made that I don't like every element on, so I don't really know. It didn't work. It's okay. It happens sometimes. And I would also disclaim it didn't work for me. As someone who likes this, I didn't understand this. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to make it seem like everyone in South Africa should think this is shit. I'm not that person. And I tried to make it as constructive and polite as I could. But no matter how nice I was being, people were touched because I wasn't gushing at their film. And again, this is not every filmmaker. I know many filmmakers who are very open to criticism, which I think is why they do a very good job. Like, and I've had people criticize the shit I've made. I've had people criticize shit I couldn't control on my own, like small projects. And I had people criticizing me in varsity when I didn't even know how to make films. Like, I've, gotten a tough skin from this. It's not like, it's not nice. It's not like I'm like, yay, but it's like I'm used to it. I'm used to the practice of it. Being at film school helps you get through this because the point is to make you better. And it doesn't make sense if everyone's lying. I send things to some of my friends when I write things. I'm like, what do you think of this? Because I feel like I'm a bit stuck. And we'll give each other constructive criticism to be like, oh, I see where you're going, but here's maybe what's making you not get there. And we help each other out that way. I can't expect my friend to be like, this is the most brilliant thing I've ever seen in my life, because it's not going to help me grow. So what I essentially wanted to do with this video is discuss the fact that I don't understand why we must be absolved from criticism, because we have a lot of issues in this industry, whether we like to admit it or not. It is what it is. Like, there's not really, it's a small industry. It's a baby industry. And I'm saying small in the sense that we haven't, because I know people don't like calling it industry because we haven't found ways to really make money from it, which is one big issue with it. We don't put enough money into our projects. But also at the same time, I don't even think it's just that, because I've seen projects where more money than usual is put into something and they still don't do a good job. And working on the Film Biz Show has made me understand why a lot of these people don't do a good job. But we can't have that conversation if you're too scared of criticism. You will never improve if you're too scared for someone to be like, I think you should have developed your script a bit more. I think you should have gotten a script editor. I think you hired the wrong director for this. You did not cast well. That's why your story didn't work out. And if nobody wants to listen to what the audience, the people who consume this thing have to say, then what is the point? Because you're giving the audience something to watch, right? You're giving us something to receive, but now I can't say anything about it unless it's good. I don't really understand why you would give the world art and be scared of what they might say. Be confident in what you made. And it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but be confident. I made something. Shit. I made something. I fucking made something. This is great. It's hard to make something. And I'm going to give it to the world, and I want to grow from it. So I'm going to see what people have to say, and I'll take the constructive things. If I have to ask my sister to read them and only give me the constructive ones, whatever it is for you, but grow from it. And this goes for all art. People are understanding that people are going to receive art how they receive art. And if you need to even go to another step and explain your art so that people can understand it better, that's fine. And then maybe be like, okay, I was looking at it from the wrong point of view. Thank you for that. Now I can receive it better. But, you can't have that discussion if you don't open the space to have that discussion. I'm going to use some examples of real, things that I have critiqued within my life. And I don't want anyone to get offended, but let's go. The last South African film, aside from the short films that I watched, the last South African film I watched was Lobola Man, right? And I thoroughly enjoyed, like, Lawrence mostly, but not like it was bad, but mostly because Lawrence was the main character. I was just like, wow, this guy could have chemistry with a tree. I think it's actually not the first time, but it is one of the first times I have seen such good chemistry between two male leads. I guess the other guy is kind of a lead, he's supporting, whatever, but two male actors who are not dating. It's the first time I've seen such good chemistry between them that I actually believe their friendship. I was just like, wow, they did a very good job casting this film. Do you know what I mean? I had a good time watching this film. However, there are some things I think that they could have worked on. But majority of the film, I had a fucking fun time watching. However, because there is something very big within the story that they lacked, it unfortunately took a lot of my enjoyment away, because I'm like, yeah, this is nice. I'm not the type of person who minds a kind of cliche story. I know you're probably like, but you're a filmmaker. How dare you? Sometimes I watch a rom-com because I just want to see a happy ending. Like, I'm not going in there expecting plot twists. It's not a thriller. I'm not going in there to see a horror movie. I know exactly what a rom-com is. Very few of them can surprise me at all because they're all the same shit. And I definitely think we should work on different ways in order to make rom-coms more interesting. However, when I go watch them openly knowing that these things are going to be the same, then I expect particular things. And I'm not saying you have to do them. I'm just saying some things matter. And the reason... this is going to sound so petty. Okay, actually, there are two reasons why the story had moments where I didn't understand. One problem was that the Lobola... This is a spoiler, so please skip over if you want to still watch the film. They're gone? Okay, cool. One problem I had is that the Lobola that they wanted paid off to the girl is a very small amount of money. Even I could save up 20K. So why pay someone to make that happen? I understand it was to get that whole moment where he's like, she deserves more. But like, it should have been more. So that it made more. They should have been like 150K. So it could be like, she deserves fucking $1 million. You know what I mean? Like, it should have been that type of moment. She deserves this whole house. She deserves everything. Do you know what I mean? So, because I feel like he was getting paid more than the Lobola the guy was willing to pay for his girlfriend. I didn't really understand the context. I didn't understand. I didn't understand why he wanted the Lobola man. I'm sorry. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's Maybelline. But like, I didn't get it. Like, it fell through for me at that moment because I'm like, huh? You're paying this man more money than you're going to pay your girlfriend for Lobola. Are you stupid? Actually, 3 things. Second thing, the chick who liked the boyfriend in the office, that was very obvious. She was in love with him. She's down. She's thirsty. Like, stand up, girl. Come on. But I feel like they should have given her more of a story. Not just a caricature of a pining coworker. She should have had a bit more so that we will be like, yo, shame sisters, you must be the one. Do you know what I mean? It's like you two make more sense. And I think that could have worked with more of an, I don't know, they could have had more time to play around with that relationship. And I know time constraints. They probably even did it and then they had to cut it out and edit for all we know. I've been on these sets where storylines have to be cut short and you're like, wait, the fuck? Thirdly, what do they call this again? I should know this because I work in the industry. The grand gesture. Thank you. English. We're here. The grand gesture pissed me off. If you're gonna run through an airport, run through that motherfucker, okay? If we're gonna have an airport scene, I want this homie pushing security. I want this homie throwing bags. I want him to like use an old lady to get where he needs to go. I want him to do more than bribe one person and get on the plane. Do you know how hard it is to get on a plane even when you've paid to be on the plane? I nearly missed a flight, you know, until we were like, please just take us. We are ready to pay. You're telling me you had to bribe one security guard to get on this flight? So you're telling me I don't have to pay Fly SA fare, 3,000 rand to go to Cape Town? I can just slip 250 to some security guard and get on the flight? Because he could have flown off. There was no fight. There was no like, yeah, I want a man to do that for me. I was just like, nigga, that was so easy. It needs to be Brown Sugar calling on the radio, being like, when did you fall in love with hip-hop? I fell in love with hip-hop. No, Sydney. When did you fall in love with hip-hop? Andre, I fell in love with you the first time I saw you. I get emotional each time. And this is why I don't think I can write a romance, because how will I ever write something as perfect? Yeah, I'm fine. You're probably like, what the fuck's wrong with this girl? I think that, unfortunately, that's where Lobola Man lacked. And it's like, if you're going to be cliche, do it. But if we live in a world where we can't criticize film, then we're not going to be allowed to say things like that. And must just pretend that the film through and through is great. When in reality, I honestly give it a 6 out of 10. It really was fun. They did a very good job with cast. And I think the story was fun. However, there are some things that are lacking and could have been done a bit better. And it is what it is. But it doesn't take away from the fact that their How to Ruin series was pretty dope. It doesn't take away from the fact that Miseducation's dope. It doesn't take away from the fact that Entangled is dope. And it doesn't take away from the fact that the film is essentially a good film. It's just that there are so many small things that could have been worked on that maybe with more time and development, even though they are veterans now, not really. They're not veterans yet. They're still babies. Kind of, I guess. I don't know. I don't think they're veterans yet. They're still young. But, they're leaning on veteran status. Even though they are leaning on veteran status, I definitely think that they still should be open to criticism. And one thing I will give is that Reti Ramapakela, we did a workshop and she did mention that they do take criticism, which I appreciated because it was a very important part. And that is why she improved season 2 of Entangled, because of the criticism they got from season 1. And she didn't get mad. She improved. And that's probably why season 2 has so many nominations. Do you know what I'm saying? Also, another problem is that people think that just because a show or a film have lots of views on Netflix and Showmax, it means that it's a great through and through show. Not many shows in the world are great. It is what it is. Even shows as critically acclaimed as, let's say, The Office USA, people were like, after season 7, what was the reason? Was it the Pam and the cameraman storyline? Nobody liked that shit. You can still criticize something and enjoy it, and it can be good. Do you know what I mean? And I think with the film industry in South Africa, we definitely need to understand that there's a difference between people bashing your show and telling you that, hey, as an audience member, this is giving me nothing. And I'm the one consuming this. So could you perhaps listen to what I have to say? And you as a filmmaker should take or not take what makes sense to you. Be authentic to yourself, but also understand what people are saying. People aren't saying they hate the work that's being made. And I think that, there are other shows that I've watched. I had an issue with Inkabi, the Hitman, because I was like, the action sequences weren't as enticing as I would have liked them to be. And I definitely think they should have hired stuntsmen to do it, or more stunts people, or more stunt coordinators, something. But I definitely think that if you're going to give me an action film, I want action, okay? I mentioned the fact that, when I watch John Wick, I don't give a shit about the story. I just want to see people fucking up each other, okay? I want fighting. I don't care about feelings. I want to see guns and I want to see fists. I'm not going into an action film thinking about the mise en scène. No, I'm going there to see shit happen. I had an issue with A Soweto Love Story because Soweto had nothing to do with the story. And honestly, it was barely a romance. It was a family drama with romantic elements. And I still think that the main guy should have ended up with Didinshe's character. Because him and his girlfriend didn't have chemistry, okay? I'm sorry. If we can't have conversations, and polite conversations, constructive conversations on why things don't work, we're never going to move as an industry, and we're always going to be the underdogs, and we're never going to get more money, and we're never going to do anything insightful and enticing and whatnot. It cannot be that there's so many few and far between great projects that we make, because we're not shaking the ground. And I've said this before and I'm gonna say it again. We used to be so risk-taking with the films that we made. And I know it's also Hollywood's influence on us. I get it, guys. I get it. I know. And I get it. Capitalists, they exist and we must care about them. Whatever. At the end of the day, I think that it's mostly to do with the fact that we don't have enough spaces constructively critiquing film and TV. And if you do, you're a hater. So people disregard you. And we must just take what people give us and shut the fuck up. And I think that is so unfair as an audience member for me to swallow a pill I didn't want to swallow in the first place. I want to support the industry, but if you're going to keep giving me the same garbage, I will give up on you and just continue. I will go back to who I used to be before I was in the industry and just watch things that make fucking sense to me, like diversity, and have fun watching things. Every time I look at the Australian industry and I look at the English industry, I look at the French industry, I look at the Korean industry, I am so jealous, bruh. And yes, these specific spaces all have their own problems. Go to a YouTuber to go speak about it. I don't know. I don't know their problems because they haven't told me, but I know they have their own problems. I know they have their own critiques. Even as audience members, we probably see a lot of the issues, i.e. Black Mirror being very USA focused. But aside from stuff like that, they are able to be quite diverse with the types of things that they do. You know what I mean? USA had the 3-body problem. They also had Superstar. They also had, do you know what I mean? These shows are so diverse. They gave an opportunity to Black people to make a freaking superhero series. Do you understand? That is unique to UK. It's so good. And they're coming with the season 2. Shout out. And you know what I mean? And we would never get this opportunity because maybe Brave Ones didn't do as well as they had wanted it to. So it's like, yeah, you guys don't like these things. No, I just think maybe the story wasn't as compelling. Let's really hone into Africa. Let's really let someone go wild with what they want this thing to look like and really make it unique and interesting instead of it just always being about espionage in the same fucking way that we've been used to. And maybe we'll create something really cool. Just because it didn't work once does not mean it won't work again. I just don't understand. I feel like because no one's listening to the audience, no one wants to listen to the audience. And if the audience critiques things, you're told you're not in the film industry. And if you're in the film industry, you get told you're not in the good part of the film industry. So why should we listen to you? You know, if we're like, we want something different, it's like, no, South African audience won't get it. But these same audiences watch these other things in different countries. It just doesn't make sense. And I think the first step is that we need to be open to constructive criticism as an industry so that we can do better as society. I think that it is just like, it's getting boring because there's so much shit coming out right now and a lot of it is the same. And I can't watch all of it. Some of it is so bad. And I mean bad in the sense like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Bad like you're like, why are we making this? Who's this for? Do you know what I mean? Like, who is this for? Who are you? Which audience is this? Who asked for this? You know what I mean? And people watch it because it's like, oh, there's one South African show that came out this week. Let me watch it. It's so popular. It's doing so. Yeah, because we didn't have a choice. You gave us nothing. You gave us nothing else. You know what I mean? Or they'll put marketing in like one show and that one does one. They don't put marketing in another show. So that one doesn't do well. And now we are no longer making the other one that people would have actually enjoyed if marketing was done well and was shown to the people. Do you know what I mean? Like there's so many things and there's so many ways we can create such great content, but this won't happen because we are not allowed to critique the space that we are in. We must shut up and swallow the pill and enjoy the content and just be grateful that we still get stuff. Okay. It's like being grateful to the white man for giving us freedom kind of vibes. Like it's very weird where it's like, no, but there's still issues with the way in which it was given. You know what I mean? Like there's still issues here. And I think that is the film industry. And I think even with audience members, you guys need to stop being so sensitive if people don't like your show. Sorry. Like it be like that. It sucks. I know. I'm part of many fandoms. I know what it's like when people don't like the thing you like. It sucks because you're like, dog, but it's so nice. But at the same time, you have to be aware that we all have different taste. And that is perfectly fine. And we are all different people. And we're all going to look at things differently. And that's fine. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's fine. You can't be mad at the end of this video, for example, and be like, so you don't even like Lobola Man. You didn't hear what I said because I critiqued one thing. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense that I can't feel a particular way about the types of work that is coming out. Like there's a specific, production house that I like. I didn't like their last film because I was just like, so you went commercial. You were doing so well, just like really making some interesting content, and then you went commercial. And I'm using content for lack of a better word. I know also filmmakers hate that word sometimes. I don't mean content like TikTok, relax. It's just saying film and TV it's too many words. Anyway, it's too many words. There are people who have made fantastic films and have also flopped. And that is okay. You know what I mean? There are people who were on their peak early and now have gone in a downward spiral. But now you can't critique them because they're one of the greats. That doesn't make sense because I can be like, nah, I didn't feel that one. And I should be able to have a conversation with you about the fact that I didn't feel it and not feel like I'm bashing everyone because I just didn't feel it. As long as I'm not saying your shit, your script is shit, everything's shit, your shit. You know what I mean? Like that, I understand. You don't have to listen to that. That's bad. That's horrible. Or if you didn't ask me, that's also great. But like on a general space, if you're putting something in the public have every right to also put something out and say how they feel. And you have every right as a filmmaker to not pay attention to that. But I don't think, especially as audience members, you should also be shutting up other audience members because you like something and are mad that they don't. And then blame it on, you guys are always like this with South African content. No. No. Some of us work in the industry and that's why we're more passionate about critiquing it because we're like, this is the stuff I have to look forward to making. And this is the stuff I must support. This is the stuff I must be like, everyone check this out. No, I don't want to because it's giving me nothing. Like, I don't understand why we're so afraid of getting better. You know, we're fine with complacency and we must just be okay with it. So many brilliant shows get thrown under the bus and get broken because there was no audience development or no marketing or no script development for a second season, or no one wanted to put money into it. And we must just be okay with it and close our mouths. And it's just unfair. And then if you don't watch South African like film and TV, you're a bad guy. But it's like, I tried to say that this stuff is not working for me and I was told to shut up. So I'm just going to stop watching it. Now I'm an asshole. Now I'm a dick. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense. And I mean this in all aspects. I don't just mean like, let's just talk about why the story doesn't work. Everything. If you're watching something, you're like, hey, this wardrobe. What's going on? Because I want people to think when they do pre-production and they must sit and think about how their character even dresses. Actually, I think that's even development. You must think about how this person dresses, what their style says with the story, so that when you get to the wardrobe person, they understand the linkage. It's not about just looking nice. It's not going to get you anywhere. Like, why does almost all our characters look good all the time? Unless they're druggies or homeless people or something like that. Like, they always look good. Like, and in a context that doesn't even make sense for the story. This person is struggling, bruh, but their hair is laid, bruh, laid. Where do they get their money for that? Put a cheap wig on that girl. It makes sense. She's in varsity. Why does she look like that? And she's not even rich. Put the cheapest ass, bumpy ass wig on her so we can go like, yo, hey, been there. Do you know what I mean? Do cornrows and let the hair stick out a bit because it's old and you don't have money to keep replacing. You can't look flawless all the time. Your makeup can't be on point all the time. I appreciate, like, my one friend did a film, where she made sure that the lady had like bad makeup because she's the type of woman who would do like miscolored whatnot, and it worked because it's like, yes, put the bad makeup because some people don't do makeup well. These people exist. Why is everyone like giving? I went to the school of Rihanna. I went to the school of Mihlali. I can like beat my face for days. That doesn't make sense. You can critique these things, guys. You can talk about these things because it helps us understand things. If someone was cast badly, you have every right to be like, why did you put this person here? This is unrealistic. I do not buy what you're selling. Sorry. Because then for their next production, because I'm not saying people must get fired, for their next production, they'll probably think better about who they're casting to make the person look and feel like the person they are portraying to us. Do you know what I mean? Why do particular actors look the same in every bloody production they work on? Same. I want transformation. I want to be like, who that? It's like, wait, that's not. Nah, there's no way that's, you know what I mean? I want to have moments like that, but I can't have moments like that because everyone looks the same. We have such great actors, such great wardrobe, such great makeup, such great production design, such great storytelling. Like, we have amazing filmmakers, but there's no time, there's no thought, there's no development. It's just vibes. We don't think about long-term how this is going to affect the history of what we are creating. We don't want to leave a mark. We just, we want someone who's going to leave a blueprint and give us something. Ooh, that just feels so good. You know, like when you want to make fan theories and you want to find out more and you're just like, I need more. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of shit you should be making, where they won't let Harry Potter die. That shit's never going to die as long as millennials live because of how they created this world, for example, right? What I'm trying to say is that we need to create things that will create more things. You know what I mean? Like, we need to create work that will make people want to know more about it and interested and theories and speculate. I don't honestly think there are many shows in South Africa where, I kid you not, the astrology babes are going to be like, he's definitely a Leo. But they are those ones for Superstore. They are there for The Office, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, They all have people like, oh my god, that's Sagittarius behavior. You want everyone to really want to engage in this silly shit because it doesn't matter. But it's like the content is so good that I want to put more. Do you know what I mean? I want to add more as an audience because I'm so excited about what you're giving me. And there are shows that have touched, like they're nearly there, you know? I definitely think things like Miseducation can be there. Like if they come with a season 2 and really kill it, it can really get there. It really, really can. But I can't just say one show. I definitely think that if you're going to work on shorter form content, then you should definitely put more effort into creating just more. Like before you go and present this thing to channel and get funding, at least start developing on your own. I understand we need money. What I'm trying to say is that at least in your house, write out the character briefs and make all the Bibles and whatever. Like, let's be honest, do you have story Bibles? Like proper story Bibles the way they do for Stranger Things? Season 1, we don't need to think about the other ones. But like, do you have a proper story Bible where I can read through it and see the world being created? Or is it a light story Bible? What do we have? Like, why can't I access it? Where is it? Do you have one? Or is it like just you thinking on the go? Why? Why are you doing that when we could really hone in? But we can't do that unless we allow people to critique. So we can be like, these characters are one-dimensional. Please make people who are not. I don't recognize any of these people. I watched the first episode of Yuzo Yuzo and everyone in that show felt like someone I've met. I watched the first episode of other things and I'm like, who this? Which South Africa is this person? It doesn't mean your work is shit. It's just like, okay, we get it. Caricature. Do we need caricatures really? Do you know what I mean? Because we've watched many things where someone's point is to make us laugh, but they still have something else. And that is what we need to think about. So anyway, this video went all over the place. It went here. This is essentially what's happening in the film industry part 2. But I hope what I said makes sense and resonates in some sort of way. And it's fine if you don't agree with me. Again, keep it cute in the comments. If you don't agree, let me know why. We'll have a discussion about it. If you're mean to me, I'm just going to delete your comment or like ignore it. I'll see what I'm feeling that day. But yeah, like I just think that, you know, we should have an interesting discussion about stuff like this in the industry. As filmmakers, as audience, we should be able to talk and really honestly talk about how we want our work to be presented to us and talk about every aspect of it. It's okay. Sometimes, and I'm very aware working in the industry, time is really a big problem we have. Huge problem. Right next to money. I mean, they go hand in hand, but those two things. But I try to be like, you know, there's lots of projects that I'm working on for myself that I want to present and get funding for. While I'm waiting for that opportunity to get money, I am rewriting scripts that I have written, rewriting character bios, rewriting the world so that when I get my money, I put more effort into it. Or if I can't even do development because I don't have that time, I will be able to give the actors something and be like, here is your character profile. At least you're not going to go in blind and we can workshop it in the short time. But I'm not going in with, I don't even have a script. I don't even have a character, but I don't even know the name of this character. It's just a vibe. You know what I mean? Because we know how our industry works. We need to work around it. Because you hear the criticism. You know exactly the problems that are in this industry. You can watch the film show. It's not a shameless plug. And you can hear what people say is the biggest problem we have in this industry and work around it while we learn to fix it. And we will make such good work that people will have no choice but to just be like obsessed with us the same way they're obsessed with South Korea. They like, don't you want people to make those annoying TikTok doom, like those videos, you know, when the person's so sexy and they say, oh, I want this guy, he's such a sweetheart, you know, even though he's technically toxic. Like, don't you want people to do that stuff with the stuff you're making? And you're probably like, yeah, TikTok is underrated, like it's like basic and it's for the gens. You want those people to watch your shit because they spread the word. I've gotten so many shows because someone on TikTok was like, oh my God, I watched this show, it's so great. And I went to go watch it. And I was like, wow. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Anyway, I just want us to do better. I just really want us to do better. I don't want us to be confident. I don't want us to be confident with our work after making only 2 drafts of a script. And we're like, yeah, it's ready. It's not ready. It's not ready. And I can see this was draft 2. And I'm talking like a proper draft where you really like rewrite, not it's the third draft because you changed the one scene. I'm talking about like you went and you like really thought about how everyone talks, and you know what I mean. Like I want something I can feel when you just had a one over. You're like, yeah, okay, cool, it's good enough. And maybe I'm like, we must put too much into these things because the channel doesn't even give a shit. Fuck channel, bruh. We need to dictate how channel takes our shit. At some point, if all of us are like, no, we're not going to do it, who are they gonna turn to? But we don't have a community, so really, I don't know where I was gonna go with that comment. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this. I rambled for nearly an hour, but I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think below. I'm very interested to hear your input essentially on the industry and how it works and how you'd like it to work. Otherwise, guys, stay beautiful till my next one where I'm going to be talking about all the films I've watched this year. So stay tuned for that one if you're more interested in just hearing me ramble about movies I like. Otherwise, guys, stay beautiful, stay blessed. Bye bye.